Hello and welcome back. Today's portion of the methodology and the framework is on protein. And protein is such a little bit of a confusing topic sometimes to get started with. So I want to make sure I touch on the main points about protein. The protein is the amino acid, it breaks down, it's the amino acids that build up the cell structures of our body. So we have to keep our body continuously rejuvenating and rebuilding itself throughout each day and each year and throughout our lifetime. So if we start limiting the amount of building blocks that are available to rebuild these cell structures, then we're not really keeping and optimizing the rebuilding process of our body. All right, the second part is that in that process, protein really isn't used as energy. So it's not an energy source, it's the building blocks. So at times that gets confusing because there's a lot talked about how protein gives you energy. Well, the fact is, and the science is that our muscles are built out of that protein. And the main place that our energy sources are held is in our muscles. So we need good muscles, structure, and good strong muscles to be able to hold glycogen, which is the blood sugars that's held inside the muscle as glycogen. So we want to hold that glucose in the muscles. So if our muscles get depleted from non-use or injury and these things, or just not being built in strengthened in the first place, then we aren't able to carry enough glycogen in those muscles to maintain our energy levels well. So the better we have the strength in our muscles and the muscles built up with strength and muscle tone, the better we keep the glycogen stores in them. So it's not that the protein gives us the energy, it's that the muscles themselves are where our first stored energy source is. Now, of course, our second energy source is the fats in our fat storage areas. We do have fats in the muscles a little bit as well, but we want to, again, work on using adapting and getting our muscles to get stronger, hold good glycogen for energy, and also get very good at lipoconversion, taking the energy in the stored muscle, in the stored body fat areas, and using that in our muscles for energy, which again gets us stronger. So now let's look at the last part, is the amounts. What's the amounts that we need to take in for protein? And that would be that we can only digest about 25 to 35 approximately grams of protein per meal. Okay, so if we just look at 30 grams in general, that would be 4 calories per gram. So that's 120. 120 calories of protein. So we're looking at approximately 120 calories of protein 3 times a day. Okay, so do we want those protein sources to be high in saturated fat? No, that's what we want to look at. We want to not have our protein sources be too high in saturated fat. And how much is the amount for a woman versus a man? Well, you can fluctuate a little bit. Some meals you might have a little bit higher amount, some meals you might have a little bit lower amount. But in general, a woman will need at least about 75 to 82 and a half or so grams of protein per day. That's the average for an active woman that is needed in order to keep your muscles strong. And the average for a male is going to be a little bit higher, obviously. That's about 105. So you need at least a 35 3 times a day or 105 throughout the day. But again, you can't take it in all at once. You have to take it in multiple times throughout the day because it takes a little bit of time to digest. And we want to have that slow digestion like we use for the sticky fiber in the stomach. That breakdown happens in the holding tank, right? The holding tank is the stomach. We want to have that digestion of the protein, pre-digestion in the stomach in the holding tank, and then have it go with that sticky fiber down and be slowly broken down and absorbed. And that doesn't happen until it goes into the small intestine. So in looking at protein in general, these are the things that you want to look at is good protein sources. Now, that one other added part that you really need to be aware of, and that I talk about a lot, is that evidence is showing it does not have to come from animal protein sources, right? So we have protein in our beans, Nuts and seeds, beans and legumes, nuts and seeds. Our grains have protein, like our oatmeals have an excellent protein source, but that's not a complete protein. So you need to balance the protein that you get in your oatmeal with the protein that's in the nuts and seeds or beans, right? And the same, there's a lot of fruits and vegetables that have a lot of protein as well. So we get protein in all different methods and all different sources, but we want to make sure we combine them right and we have enough volume of that protein, those 3 times a day, a minimum, so that we can have our muscles rejuvenating and being strong enough. If we don't take in enough, it's been shown that we don't keep our muscles as strong in our arms and our legs, we just won't be as strong. So you make sure you follow your recipes, follow your guidelines, keep learning where are some of the best protein sources you like, what are the best flavors you like, and make sure you incorporate those in your plan and keep up on them, okay? So I look forward to seeing you on the next video and reviewing this over again and again. It's fine, and thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you on the next video.